طلاب. Today we are continuing to talk about A Good Man is Hard to Find, and we are discussing symbolism part 2. So in this PowerPoint, we are going to see how the decayed and ruined settings symbolized by the old plantation house and the woods in the story affect the characters and the environment. So the old plantation house, the grandmother persuades her family to, to visit an old plantation house she remembers from her youth. This house, which turns out to be a figment of her faulty memory, symbolizes the decayed greatness of the Old South. The idea of the house and the grandmother's nostalgia for it reflect the decline of traditional Southern values and the illusion of a past that no longer exists. So the old plantation house, because it was based on a memory of the grandmother, and it was not in this state, it was another state, it was a faulty memory, it symbolizes the ruined and the decayed Southern values. Also, we have the woods, which represent the dense, ominous woods where the family has their fatal encounter with the misfit, are typically of the Southern Gothic landscape. The woods represent the unknown, danger, and the moral wilderness that the characters are navigating. They serve as a dark, foreboding backdrop to the story's climax. So the woods, we don't see the woods except for two parts where we listen to the animals and listen to the shots that the family were killed. That's why it represents the Gothic element here in this story. Another symbolic idea is the bizarre characters represented by the misfit and the grandmother. So the misfit is a classic Southern Gothic character embodying both the grotesque and the tragic. He is a criminal who questions the meaning of life and the existence of God, presenting a complex mix of violence and philosophical depth. His appearance, gaunt with glasses that give him a scholarly air, and his brutal actions create a stark contrast story that makes him both terrifying and pitiable. So during the story, we will have a mixed feelings whether to like or to hate the misfit, or at least to feel sorry for him because of his philosophical depth and the element that he feels that the society treat him in an unfair way. Another character is the grandmother, who is another example of a grotesque character, though in a different way. She is a manipulative, self-centered, and clinches to outdated Southern ideals of gentility and moral superiority. Her behavior is often ridiculous and petty, but in the end, she experiences a moment of grace that adds complexity to her character, making her a tragic figure as well. So, the grandmother represents the decline of the Southern values. Besides her superficial character, she is a manipulative person and represents the bad side of the story up until the end. Another element of symbolism is the violence and the death of the characters. So the murder of the family in the story, or the story's climax, is a brutal act of violence where the misfit and his gang carefully murder the entire family. This senseless act of violence is a symbol of Southern Gothic fiction, where death and brutality are often used to explore deeper themes of morality, fate, and the human condition. The juxtaposition of the family's mundane road trip with the sudden horrific violence underscores the story's exploration of the fragility of life. So